So I'm going to break up our session into two videos. The first video will be talking about WordPress basics, and the second part of the video will be talking about how to customize and make changes to specific pages on your website. So I'm on the home page at BlowOutJunkie.com, and the first thing we want to do is to log it into the back end in order to create our changes. So what I'll need to do is, in the URL, go to the website www.blowoutjunkie.com and type in /wp-admin. Once I type in wp-admin, if I'm already logged in, it'll go to my, essentially called the dashboard. I'm going to go ahead and log out. To log out, I'll click on the right hand corner and select logout. And I will try it again. So blowoutjunkie.com /wp-admin, which will bring us to the login screen, which will look like this. Once you put in your username and password, click on login and you'll be brought back to the dashboard. So the first thing I want to go over in terms of dashboard is over here on the left hand side there's the menu system. The main components that we'll be focusing on are content areas, pages, users, and backup. So the first thing we want to go over is users. So users is basically the section where you can add users, delete users, you can update your passwords, and so forth. So if you wanted to, for example, edit the current password, you'll just click on edit on your current user and scroll down and essentially just type in the new password and repeat it again. Of course, always try to go for some stronger passwords, 8 to 9 characters at least. Let's try. There you go. So a strong password is recommended. That'll prevent your website from getting broken into and unauthorized access. If I go back to the user's main page, which can be done by clicking on users, you could essentially delete other users, or you can add new users here by clicking the add new up here and filling out the credentials for that user. For rows, you wanna select administrator, and that'll give that person all access to make any of the changes to your website. All the other roles aren't really necessary for this website. It's kind of an all or none for this website. Editor, author, contributor, subscribers are really for blog websites, which is not in the case of your website. So disregard those and just select administrator. The next thing I wanted to showcase is is pages. And pages are essentially will allow you to update all the different pages on your website. You'll also be able to delete pages as well as add new pages. But we'll go into a little bit more details about pages in the next video. The other section we wanted to go over is content areas. And let me bring up the front part of the website so we can see what part of the website is a content area. So essentially there is only one content area on your website. I call it the footer text. If I click on footer text and click on edit, you'll see this content here. When you go to your website, you'll notice that basically reflects this part right here. So essentially the footer text is the text that's in the footer, and to edit this part right here, it's in content areas. And the reason why it's in content areas is because it's a component of the website that is on every single page. So as I'm flipping through different pages, you can see that this section here is always apparent on every single page. So that's a content area versus a page. So in order to edit this part here, just go to content areas, click on footer text, and let's say I wanted to change from $40 to $20. I'll just change the 4 to the 2. Click on update. Always click on update. That essentially allows you to save your changes. And then if I go to the website again and refresh the page, the 40 should change to 20. Well, let's go to dev. So here it is. So it's changed to 20. The difference between content areas and pages is content areas is easy. It's just the bottom part. Pages is essentially everything in this white section here. So this section here, as well as the home page, it's the middle area. So if I go to pages and I select home and click on edit under home, you'll see the home page content in this box right here where you can change and edit things. And we'll go over this just a little bit more in more detail in the next video. The next section I want to showcase is the menus. Here is the menu on your website, and as you can see, there's some drop-down boxes for certain menu items. So let's say you wanted to move things around or edit the order of the elements of the menus. You would go there. It's a little bit hidden, but you'll go into your dashboard, the back end, and you would go to appearance. It'll basically appear with a drop-down menu or a side menu, and then you want to select menus. Go ahead and select that. Alright, so this is the menu structure of your site. As you can see, some of them that do have drop-down menus, the menu items are indented. So let's say I wanted to have, let's just create a new page. So we have a test page here. It's not part of the menus, but let's say I do want to add it to the menu. So I'll select it. I'll click on add to menu. And let's move it to the second menu item. So you'll just click and drag it, and I'll have it right next to home. And I'll click on save menu. And I'm going to go ahead and refresh the page. And we can see that there is a test menu, but because the menu is longer than the expected menu width, books gets bumped down to the next line. So there needs to be some programmatic adjustments there. So instead of having to do a programmatic adjustment, what we could do is have tests be a submenu of any of the items. So let's say I want test to be a submenu of services. Let's put it in between services and style menus. I'll click on save. Click on refresh, and we can see that the test is between services and style menus. Currently, Junkie program does not have a submenu. So let's see what happens when we have tests be a submenu of Junkie program. And click on refresh. We see that it's no longer under services, but if we highlight it over Junkie program, we see that test is underneath there. So that's essentially how you would add and make adjustments to the menus. The last thing I want to go over is books is a special is a special link. It doesn't necessarily, when clicked on, goes to a page within your site. It actually links out to another site. So in order to do something like that or edit the external link, so let's say you no longer want books to go to https://clients dot mindbodyonline.com / etc. and you wanted to change it to go to maybe another booking service. What you would do is go to book, expand the menu, and essentially just put it in the new URL there. If you wanted to create another menu item that links out, what you can do is click, what you want to do is, let's see, you want to go to links and add the URL you want the link to go to. So let's say in this case you wanted to go to Google, just for example. The link text, let's just call it Google as well, and then select add to menu. We see that it's part of the menu now, and let's have it under contact. And once I save it and refresh the page, under contact we have a submenu item called Google that when click on will essentially go to Google. Now you do have another option with the external link. If you expand either book or Google, because there are special menu types that will link outside of your site, you do have an option to have it open link in a new window or tab, and you check this checkbox. When somebody clicks on a link that has that checkbox checked, it'll open up a new tab and then go to the link instead of opening up the link within your page. So the last thing I want to cover is the Backup Buddy backup program. If you go to your dashboard, you'll see how many different edits have occurred since the last backup, and typically I recommend backing up after either any huge updates, like let's say you made a lot, like one update but it was pretty dramatic, for example editing a whole page. I recommend backing up after that, or 5 to 10 small backups, or every 2 weeks or 30 days, whatever your preference is. And it's better to back up often so that if something ever happens to your website, either it got broken into or the hosting decides to go belly up and they didn't tell you, at the very least you would always have a most recent backup, or at least a recent backup of your website handy, so that you can provide to a developer or another hosting provider to bring back your original site, so you don't lose everything and you don't lose a lot of your new changes. So in order to back up, what you do is you'll click on backup, or you hover over black. If you hover your mouse over Backup Buddy, it'll have a submenu item that opens up. You will then select backup, and then you want to do a complete backup. Always do a complete backup. Click on that, and then you can just have this run for a couple minutes. So either you can do you do something else, go somewhere else, and then come back. When it's done, what you want to do is hover over Backup Buddy and click on backup. Same place where you would click on to make the backup in the first place. And then when it's done, you'll just click on the most recent one. So this one was done a minute ago, so I did one before I did this training. So what you want to do is you just want to click on it, And what this does is basically allow you to download your entire website onto your computer so that you have a local copy of your website so that you can provide it to anybody else in the event that your website does go down. So that concludes this video session. So we went over how to access the WP login, how, differentiate between content areas and pages, um, adding, editing, and deleting users, and making updates to your password, doing good passwords. We also went over backups, as well as the menu structure and how to modify the menu structures. Thank you.